The Big Wood River's flowing and our inventory is on the rise. Let's see what else happened here in April in Sun Valley.
All right, my friends, welcome back to Dry Fly Collective Real Estate here at Keller Williams, Sun Valley, Southern Idaho. This is Zach Greenewalt. We're going to talk about April's numbers. It is really hard to believe that we are sitting here in May, but the weather is beautiful, and I think we're all excited for what is coming in the next 90 days, summer in Sun Valley. Let's take a look at what's going on. Median sales price is sitting at about $945,000, very similar to last April. You can see here that the price point is staying quite stable. So again, if you're looking for prices to drop, that has not happened yet, but we are not in a frothy market where things are escalating at a very fast pace. Market seems quite stable right now, and prices are holding pretty steady for most of 2026. Pending sales. Now, this one's interesting. We have got 37 pendings, up from 30 in 2025, so stronger activity than we had in the previous year. This is pretty good for the most part. I think the interesting thing here is we do see a fall off from March to April. We had 45 pending in March and 37 here in April. But if you look at the historical side here, right, it does look like our April and May, which tend to be our slack seasons, are some of our slower times for pending activity. So a pretty positive sign that we saw an increase over April 2025. Demand stays pretty strong here in the market. Very good news. Home sales. We had 48 last April, 37 this April. Now that's a curious drop. I'm not so sure why that would have taken place because we've had pretty strong pending activity in 2026. So this is something to be mindful of. As I looked into some of these numbers, I thought maybe we would see a uptick in deals that fell apart and came back on market, but I could only find one of those. So potential could be that we're seeing more complex deals getting put together. I've got to sell this house to buy that house. Not so sure that that is actually the case, as I couldn't find any data that would support that, but I will keep an eye on that and report back here in the coming months. It is going to be pretty important for us to understand if deals are getting put together but falling apart. That's going to be a sign of potential problems in the market. But again, in April, that was only one of those. So we'll keep an eye on it, and I'll keep you updated as I find out more in the coming months. Active inventory. So we are below the inventory of last year. Now, I thought we would see more inventory in 2026, but that has not been the case thus far. We are still sitting below last year's active number. The positive sign here, the silver lining, might be that April, we saw more active listings come on in April than we did the year before. So potentially a positive sign in the right direction that inventory actually upticks and we see more of that product come on in the next coming months as our summer months really ramp up. Our market remains relatively well balanced, all things considered. So even though inventory is down and pendings remain strong, we are sitting on a relatively balanced market with about 5 months supply of inventory. So sellers, you are in a really strong position overall with less competition, but buyers, you're sitting at the table as well, being able to negotiate. Now, I do want to caveat this, that the properties that are really optimally priced and ready to go in the right location are seeing multiple offer situations. That is still taking place in our market. In fact, the last 2 deals I've put together have been multiple offer situations. So we are in a balanced market. The right property at the right price is still seeing a ton of demand. Our volume is interesting to me because we do tend to be higher end marketplace, but this story tells me that the high end is not moving. You can see in previous Aprils, we've had very high volume sales. That typically means the high end product is what is trading. That's not happening right now. So we're seeing properties that are sub 5 million perform the best. Things above 5 million tend to be dragging out. Again, I'm not so sure why that would be. You've got the stock market, which continues to climb, even with macro issues going on, Middle East, increased gas prices. So not so sure why that high-end market is lagging behind, but it is. And again, we'll keep you up to date as that unfolds in the summer months. Perhaps those buyers are just waiting with that lack of inventory. that right property hasn't been found for them yet. Days on market is up. And again, I think you're seeing that being dragged by that high-end market being a little bit slower. So we'll keep an eye on that. But on average right now, if you're looking to sell your house, you've got yourself about a 3 to 4 month voyage on average to get your property sold. Now, we are seeing some things, again, trade really quickly in under a week, in under a day. And we are seeing some of our inventory lag on market for 400 or 500 days, which is not the norm for the last couple of years. Now, again, at the end of the day, you guys, we're talking about the inventory of all of the Wood River Valley. And it's super helpful to know what's going on, broad strokes, but you know as well as I know that real estate is a hyper local product. So if you're curious how these numbers impact you personally, reach out. I would love to have the conversation with you and let you know what's going on with your specific property. This is Zach Greenawalt with Dry Fly Collective Real Estate signing off. I'll see you next week.